So Danny wants to know, this is kind of getting back to some of the stuff you were saying, which Danny, by the way, thank you very much for the super chat contribution. What industry can afford $15 an hour? Will people stop buying products? How does an industry cease to exist if demand is there for what they supply?
Well, it's not a matter of the industry being having. I had this conversation on an interview last night as well. It's not a matter of the industry ceasing to exist. We always have supply and demand. Okay, the hardest industry that would be at $15 an hour is our restaurant industry. Okay, here in Michigan, I believe our waiters and waitresses are being paid roughly, I want to say right around $3.50 an hour because it varies. They're making $3.50 an hour plus their tips. Okay. Some of these restaurants make these guys and girls combine all their tips together and then they split it at the end of the day, and other ones don't do that. So where that would hurt, if we force them up to $15 an hour, the restaurant owners are going to have to raise the price of their food dishes. Now, if that pushes,
People say that. I don't buy that, and I'm not like trying to single you out. We're just having a discussion, but I mean, they always say that, like that's always like the kind of straw man they throw out there. But if their prices are too high, they're not going to compete. They're going to go under anyway. So they're going to find other ways to cut corners. Now, Jim Keedy, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a progressive out of New Jersey. Where he's at is he favors the Fight for 15. He wants to enforce it on the big guys right away. If you're a big corporation, you got to go to Fight for 15 right away. And then he has some exceptional incremental steps for small businesses. Would you favor something like that?
That was what I was pointing at to you. Remember here a little bit ago where I mentioned between $12 and $15. That's exactly where I was going with that. Because if we start the restaurants out at the $12 mark and then progressively move them up to the 15, it gives the society or the community an opportunity to adjust as it goes up. Okay.
So yeah, and you know, and I'm not totally in agreement there, and you know, and I like Jim a lot, and you know, so far I like you too. But my thing is, I mean, I think it'll just adjust itself in other ways, and also I feel like in the case of small businesses, there's so many ways that you can not necessarily negate around that, but other ways that you can conduct your business if you want to be in that small business. There are worker co-ops, for instance. There are contractor agreements. There's so many ways where if I want to start a pizza shop and I'm like, you know, on a shoestring, whatever, and it's a passion and it's kind of a labor of love for me and whoever else is involved, there are other ways that we can, you know, get the product done while we're starting out other than paying $15 an hour to each other. And then in the future, when we can expand, you know, that would just be a factored in cost. So that's why I'm just straight up, you know, no gimmicks, no exceptions. I'm for the Fight for 15. You know, I understand how some people might have some exemptions in there, but I'm just 100% for it. I don't buy, oh, they're going to raise the prices. Like, no, you know, like the whole thing, your Big Mac's going to be $20. First of all, using that, for instance, I'd actually be for that because then people would stop eating that shit and it's garbage. It should be illegal anyway. Second of all, you know, it wouldn't happen. They would get like cheaper toilet paper or something, or they would get, when the price of gasoline goes up, your Big Mac isn't more expensive. Why would it be more expensive when you're paying employees a living wage? And secondly, you know, the CEO makes over 475 times that the average worker in the case of McDonald's. So you can afford to give everybody there $15 an hour minimum.
I agree with you on that.
Right on. So let's see here. Let's see. Danny kind of echoes what I said. He said, we're going to stop eating at restaurants, ? People making no money don't eat out much either. I don't buy it. Yeah, it's the other thing. If people are getting living wages, they can spend more money. It's gonna also pay for itself that way. And Convo Couch wants to know, are you going to protect waiters' tips?
It's a service provided industry. I mean, look, again, here I use Canada as an issue because it's a country right across the lake from me. Their waiters and waitresses are actually making their country's minimum wage. and then the tip is above and beyond. So I don't see why that can't happen here. I mean, when I used to drive truck and I used to go through Canada, I stopped to eat breakfast over there. Their breakfast was comparable to ours, but yet their waiter or waitress was making their state minimum, which at the time was like $8.25 or $9.25 an hour, plus they received their tips. I don't see why that won't work here. But I'm just telling you some of the arguments that I'm hearing when I'm out campaigning and talking to these people. Because I mean, trust me, I'm stopping for breakfast while I'm campaigning out there, and I talk to the owners if I get the chance. So these are issues that I bring to them, and if it's viable for them. Of course, you know, most of them say, well, no, I couldn't handle that. And I want to say, are you saying that because that would put you out of business, or is that cutting into your profit margin? And then again, after that, you know, they don't like me at the first, but then when they hear the rest of the tax restructuring that I plan here in Michigan, you know, then they see that some of these things are offsetting what the raise of wages would be. So
like people spending more money at their establishment.
Exactly. You know,
right, so
I have plans in the tax restructuring that benefit the majority or 80% of the people here in Michigan, but it also benefits some of the businesses as well. I mean, if I lower the state income tax from 4.25% to 2.5% and lower the corporate income tax from 6%, which it's currently, down to 3% for all of our business, instead of like it is right now, where we have mom and pop businesses actually paying the full 6%, and corporations like General Motors who are paying 4.38%, and then my pet peeve, our insurance industry, which is only paying 1.75%. Yeah. So if I put that flat across the board where everybody's paying the same amount, that the benefits are going to go to the businesses and the employees.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.